Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're going to have a 1v1 on Semoskiy Winter. Our heroes today are going to be crjak. Yeah, crjak. Yeah. Playing for the Soviets. And his opponent today is going to be zigISR. Playing for the Germans. So once again, as you probably know, this is from the Sunday Night Fights Season 5 tournament, round of 128. They're all in the same map. So, a little bit about the players. We have the highest ranking player in this matchup being crjak, and that is for his Soviet play, which is in the 500s. Sig, well, he's not. Seeding-wise, crjak was in 50 and Sig is 79, so yeah, should be fine. So let's see, and hopefully they will give us an entertaining match. Now, build order wise, we have tier 1 going down for Sig, as you usually would expect any German player to do so, and getting himself 2 grenadiers, one already on the field, and the other one popping right now. As far as crjak goes, he has himself conscripts, like you would expect any Soviet player to do. Second conscript squad already hitting the field. Interestingly enough, though, we do see that both players have already selected their doctrines, and that is going to be the Spearhead Doctrine for Sig and the Soviet Shock Army for crjak. So, interesting. We shall see how those come into play. So, nothing happening so far. We see Sig capturing the northern and left-hand side of the map, while crjak is capturing the southern and right-hand side of the map. We do see a conscript going for the front of crjak's base, so that means something will run into each other. But, well, this conscript will lose whatever engagement it runs into, considering there are 3 German infantry or German units on the left-hand side of the map. 2 grenadier squads actually moving in unison right now, because one was capturing the point while the other one was running out of the base. They do split up a little bit, but they will run into the conscripts, meaning they will be able to support each other, and thus conscript is going to lose that fight. Third conscript squad already on the field for crjak. It is going over to the left-hand side as well, but it is not going to get there in time to support this conscript squad, and, well, fighting a 2-on-1 against grenadiers is never an optimal thing for a conscript squad. These conscript squads should have actually tried to Ura themselves into the house. That would probably have been the best solution for them to be able to win the fight. Second conscript squad is coming in to support, but there's also the grunts on the side, so they're still going to lose that fight. However, they did manage to delay enough, only losing 1 man, taking a lot of damage themselves, but, you know, decently enough, so not bad for crjak. The engagement could have actually gone worse, so looks like Sig is deciding to back off and is going to stay further at range with his grants. Maybe waiting for the third grenadier. No, MG42. Interesting. So, 3 grants into an MG42, or is it no? 2 grants into MG42 with a third grant after that. So MG42 coming up. We'll start firing at these conscripts. 1 man down on each of the grenadier squads. We already saw 2 men lost from one of the conscript squads, and the MG42 opens up, forcing those conscripts to displace and get themselves out of that cover. 1 more man dies to the MG42, but they all manage to get themselves out of the line of sight. Third conscript squad moves in to support, and we now have a pretty even matchup, but these Pios are in a very bad spot. They do end up having to retreat very nicely. So right hand side we have a conscript squad all alone just capturing territory, while the combat engineers for crjak run back and actually build themselves tier 1. So it's going to be interesting to see what he decides to get from that. Maybe a fast scout car? We shall see. Conscripts decide to move up to the north and start capturing the victory point and the munitions. Grenadiers notice that, take some shots, but decide to move back. The MG42 is in the main road, and we have a grenadier squad moving to the front of crjak's base. So we will be able to capture that. MG42 probably going to be following up behind him and maybe placing itself in this house. And at the same time, on the right-hand side, grants and conscripts do engage, but the grants are in heavy cover, so they will actually win that fight quite handily. Sig, for his part, is also building himself tier 2, so pretty fast teching for both players. Sometimes we see players taking, longer and investing more in their tier 1. which is why I was saying in previous games, usually you expect to have 4 units from your tier 1 or, well, tier 0 for the Soviets. Most players go 3 conscripts into Molotovs into a 4th conscript, and most German players go 4 units from tier 1, either 4 Grands for getting MGs for support like Sig did this time. But anyways, so engagements all over the place. We have conscript jumping into this house, actually nailed one of those Grands while they were jumping that fence or wall. Conscripts over here on the front of crjak's base managed to capture the point, connecting the left-hand side. The MG42 is running around in the center, not actually garrisoning anything. And we do have a flamethrower upgraded on the combat engineers for crjak, which probably forced the MG42 to actually pack up. If they jump into the house, they will be able to throw some flame bursts, if I'm not mistaken, although it's a little bit further away, so I'm not sure if they will be in range of that MG42. No, it doesn't look like they would be in range. Conscripts do end up having to retreat in the face of that MG42. The other conscript squad decides to jump itself into that shack, which normally you don't want to put your units in a building that small, but it does provide 3 windows in this direction, which means they're going to be, firing a lot, as opposed to, some other directions where they don't actually have any angle of fire. Combat engineers in the house taking shots from that MG42. The conscripts over here still holding ground. Do we have any Molotovs coming up? No, still no Molotovs for crjak. Not exactly sure why he's not getting Molotovs. But he does have a second combat engineer squad getting produced. Still nothing from his tier 1, so not exactly sure why he built it. Maybe he's just going for a T-70 rush and wanted to build a building as soon as he could. I don't know. Did get himself a mortar, which could have also been a sniper from his tier 1, but he decides to go for his doctrinal choice. And the conscripts are moving up into the church, while the combat engineers did end up evacuating and retreating back home. Conscripts over here in this shack get mauled and gunned down by everything. The flamethrower Pyos doing a lot of damage, down to 2 men on the retreat. Can the Grens finish them off? Down to 1 man on the retreat, taking a lot of damage. Flame burst goes down, sliver of health, but it barely makes it out alive. Very lucky there. Conscripts in the church do end up evacuating, running around, taking 1 man loss to the MG42 as they move, and it looks like they might be wanting to go to the southern fuel. There is a Grand squad nearby, which could intercept them and will. And again, we still see no Molotovs for crjak. So yeah, something tells me, yeah, I think he's going for the T-70 rush. Although he took a little bit too long at this point. He has a lot of fuel now, and he actually has enough fuel to get himself a T-34. But usually the T-70 is still the better rush because it can do a lot of damage to infantry, whilst the T-34, while it can kill infantry, it's not great at it, so it'll take a while. Could take down the half-truck very quickly, however, but, we shall see what happens. So the half-track on the field for Sig, just there for support, hasn't actually gotten upgraded with the flamethrower because Sig got himself flamethrowers on his Pyos. Nasty shots there by the mortar, looks like might have actually killed himself, or was that a rifle nade? No, it was a rifle nade from one of these Grens, so doing a lot of damage to the conscripts. Conscripts down to 3 men on the retreat, 3 and 4 men respectively on those 2 squads, but they do end up having to evacuate the field. 120mm mortar battering the church, trying to take it down. Very nice idea there because that will... Oh, actually it's shooting at infantry. Right hand side, conscripts losing a fight against Grens. Grens in the house, since there's no Molotovs on the field. Finally Molotovs getting produced, so it looks like we will actually get that T-70. Although he hasn't produced it because he doesn't have manpower for it. Mortar moves back a little bit, sets up on the other side of the river, and will start bombarding. It does have enough range to cover the entire middle of the territory, so it is fine. And interestingly enough, Sig got himself a second MG42, and also got himself a Panzer Grenadier squad, which is hitting the field right now. So MG42s will be able to support all over the place. We have 1 over here on the left-hand side, 1 in the center, and conscripts pushing into the house, or was that a flamethrower engineer? Flamethrower engineer, very nice. Doing a burst on those Grens, getting some very nice damage down, and forcing them to move away. Grens losing another man to that. And 1 still in range of that flamethrower. A little bit of a miss micro right there by Sig, but he does have his half-track there, so I guess he can just simply reinforce it. It's fine. Mortar crossing the river once again, setting up and taking shots at whatever it can, and that is the MG42. Nailing one of the men with its first shot. The MG42 needs to back up and move. More shots will go down right on top of it if it doesn't. And down to 2 men, getting chased by conscripts with BPSHs, but they're running right on top of the shot. Well, more shot actually landed perfectly on the MG42, but I think it actually did kill one of its own conscripts. But yeah, conscripts, however, getting assaulted by Panzer Grenadiers on the retreat, down to 1 man, very low in health on that squad, makes it alive. The one with PPSHs did end up with 3. MG42 gets recruited by those Pios. Pios move back and start getting reinforced. 112mm mortar doing a lot of work, a lot of kills. And the T-70 is now on the field for crjak. There is nothing on the field to counter it, but he is not being aggressive with it. He needs to be more aggressive than this and go find something to shoot at, because the window of time closes very quickly for a T-70. However, Sig has not actually built himself tier 3, so the only thing he can do right now is a pack to maybe, you know, snipe it and catch it out of position, but we need to combine it with a Faust like right now and the pack to potentially take it down. But a Flak Panzer or a Panzer IV would actually be ideal. The T-70 gets a Faust in the face, now getting shot. Shooting at the MG42. MG42 exits the house, but doesn't retreat immediately, gets shot by the T-70, and down goes one MG42. Right-hand side, conscripts capturing, and we hear an engagement up north. Combat engineers and conscripts moving back. Combat engineers were actually retreating. And center of the map continues to get bombarded by the 112mm mortar, which I can't help but think was a amazing choice there by crjak. Panzer Strike's getting equipped on the Panzer Grenadiers. Nice shot by the T-70, actually nails 2 of them and forces them to back off. They will get to the half-track. Conscript squad used to capture that MG42. MG42 jumping into the house, so he will start getting a little bit more of a defensive or offensive position. Conscripts get burned alive by the Pios. Pios dodging a mortar shot. And the Panzer Grenadiers are gonna get... No. Somebody caught a Molotov to the face. Is it in the house? Yeah, it looks like. Okay. PPSH quick conscript right on top of those pioneers, trying to finish them out. Molotov landing on the Pios, down to 1 man on the retreat, but a very healthy man. And the 112mm mortar actually ends up shooting its own infantry, now up to 6 friendly kills with only 9 enemy infantry killed, so not panning out. One of the things to keep in mind, and which is a little bit counterintuitive of this commander. I mean, it's very nice with the units that it gives you, but the 112mm mortar tends to kill your infantry a lot more often, and you have shock troops and PPSHs on your conscripts, which means that you usually want to rush your conscripts right on top of the infantry to maximize the damage output. And that means that you are putting your infantry right on top of their infantry, which is getting shot at by the 112mm mortar. So it's one of the things you have to keep in mind with that doctrine choice. The other one that has the 112mm mortar that usually sees some use is the what is it called? Guard mortar? Guard mortar, which gives you the guards rifle, the mortar, and marked vehicle. That one is okay because guard rifles usually you want to keep them at range. They have a lot of armor and they have machine guns which you need to set up, so if you keep them at range and heavy cover, they're going to be away from the infantry, shooting off with their PTRS rifles and their DP light machine guns. And with marked vehicle, I mean, it's just an ability to, you know, mark vehicles, so, you know, it's fine. So usually in that sense, the mortar is fine because it's going to be supporting the units because they're making a line against the infantry that's getting bombarded. But in this doctrine, you tend to want to rush your infantry right on top of the enemy because of those PPSHs and those shock troops. And it can backfire very quickly, as you can see. 10 kills on the mortar with 6 friendly kills added on top of that, so, I mean, you can say that it hasn't really paid for itself, considering that it only has 4 enemy infantry kills to offset the manpower loss by the friendly kills. So it's gonna be a while. It is gonna get veterancy, however, which might use the precision strike, which I actually haven't seen used at all. I've never actually seen it used. Maybe I've seen it actually in effect, but actually never selecting the squad and, you know, seeing like, oh look, he used precision strike. Can't really tell how good it is. Anyways, we now see Sig pushing back onto the field with everything he has: MG42s, Grenadiers, Panzer Grenadiers, and Pios onto the left-hand side of the map. He did build himself tier 3, but has not gotten anything from tier 3. And crjak has added a T-34 onto his roster just to bolster his offensive capabilities. T-70 in this situation should still be used a little bit offensively. If it snipes Panzergrens, that is a high-value target. And yeah, the Panzerschrecks can go off on the T-70, but if you keep it at the maximum distance, it's very unlikely to hit. So, and if you do get hit, just back it off. You know? There we go. We actually see it moving in, taking some shots, but actually pushing a little bit too forward. Panzerschrecks go off, but don't actually hit the T-70. More conscripts pushing forward. Only one with PPSA just right on top of the infantry. Panzer Grenadiers do get pinned down, and are forced to retreat. The T-70 pushes forward, needs to go straight for that half-track. I don't know why it's backing off. Well, it's backing off because it's going to get Fausted, which is understandable. Conscript squad does end up getting shot down by the infantry, and that Grand squad is backing up. The MG42 also. Sorry about that, guys. Computer crashed a little bit there, and I lost all the footage from this point. So we are gonna be recasting it from this point. So I mean, shouldn't be much noticeable, but I'm telling you, don't want to make any pretenses there. So yeah. So anyways, nice engagement here in this northern side for crjak. He actually ended up getting the better end of everything here. He did lose one of his conscript squads on the retreat, but he did a lot of damage and routed all the infantry. Only thing here is that he didn't actually go for the half-track. The half-track is still on the field, moving back over here. However, well, since Sig has been reluctant to actually upgrade the half-track with flamethrowers, it actually hasn't had that much of an impact. Really, the only thing the half-track has done is reinforced units on the field, which is still, pretty significant, pretty effective, but as opposed to the previous game where we saw where the half-track was just moving around all over the place, burning infantry, getting better Team 2, being ridiculously hard to take down, those sort of things. So anyways, we get Sig, got himself a Panzer IV, and is now pushing into the center of the map since he lost the push on the left, or north. Sorry. We do have a conscript squad over here getting shot by that Panzer IV. They exit the house and are going to move along their way. Mortar is taking some shots at this side, actually nail those Panzer Grenadiers, forcing them to reinforce. And we now have another T-34 on the field for crjak, so he can 2-on-1 that Panzer IV, and he should be in a very comfortable position. Conscripts over here getting shot by the MG42. MG42 actually popping its armor-piercing rounds. Not exactly sure why it did that. I don't know does it actually do any extra damage to infantry? If you guys know, let me know in the comments, but I'm not exactly sure about that. Panzer IV pushes into the center, takes a shot at the MG42 and backs off. The T-34 returns fire, but it misses. And very nice shot there by the mortar, and down goes an entire Pioneer squad. Actually ended up igniting the flamethrower and killed the last guy. So mortar starting to be a little bit more effective. Oh, very nice shot there. Okay, now way more effective. Still has 9 friendly kills, however, so, a little bit of a shame on them. But he does have, 50% more, or 100% more, sorry, enemy kills. So, starting to earn its keep. So Panzer IV in the center, moves in, takes some shots at whatever it can. T-34s are around there. And we now have a third T-34 on the field for crjak, so he could actually go for the kill. Victory point-wise, crjak is sitting very comfortably at a 500-point mark, while Sig is quickly bleeding down to 180. He did capture the point up north, but it's now getting captured by combat engineers, so they're going to run over there. We have Pios capturing this point, and there's a T-70 near them, which is getting moved to there and going to intercept them. Sig needs to get these guys out of there pretty fast or they're going to die. We'll see if he focuses on that. Pios still there. Unfortunately, the T-70 can no longer run people down. But it's doing quick work of the Pios. The Pios are not retreating. They need to retreat now. They're going to die. Nah, too late. He can still chase them down. Down to one man. Tries to retreat. But gets shot on the ass. Down south, Grenadiers capturing territory. We have a mortar half-track coming into the field for Sig, so maybe he's trying to counter the Soviet mortar, which has been a pain in the ass the entire game, forcing his units to move away. T-34 moves a little bit down to the south, forces those Grens to move back. There is a conscript squad nearby to support it. Well, I thought there was. Yeah, there's one over here. And another one crossing the river, so that's fine. Sorry, I had seen a conscript squad the last time I saw this part. Like I mentioned, the footage for that was lost, but I decided to recast it up to this point because, well, it deserves it. Why not? So anyways, Grand's push back over here. For some reason, though, Sig is not going for the victory point, which he should probably get, considering he has this area pretty much defended by all his units, and he's now down to 120 points, so not exactly sure what he's thinking there. Center map, we hear some shots going down. Mortar half-track shooting at the church, trying to see if it can catch anything out there. But there's nothing in the church. The MG42 is set up behind it, so it's fine. And we hear the Panzer IV moving in for a flank. Panzer Grenadiers are over here on this side, so it looks like he was trying to go for a flank on this T-34, but there's two other T-34s behind it. Crjak goes for the rush, for the ram. Gets the crit up on the rear armor, and that Panzer IV will go down. This T-34 might go down to the Panzerfaust. Panzerfaust do miss. Well, they do hit, but they don't actually get the kill. And the Panzer Grenadiers are trying to chase it down. Conscripts are there to intercept. And down to one man on that Panzer Grenadier. And that is it. That's game. So again, sorry for the computer error there, but, well, we at least finished off the game. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.